You know why we love Elon Musk aside from the fact that he's an anime fan? He was bullied at school and later on became a billionaire. Now that's a great story of redemption. Those guys who bullied him probably feel stupid now. That's definitely a great story of a great man. So today we'll be discussing 10 anime where the MC is exiled or abandoned, but later redeems himself by becoming severely OP. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon. Why? Because we're sure you're going to enjoy the quality of the video ahead. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the video.
ここまでして見せたくないものは一体なんだ?
First anime on our list is Ari Ferretta. It follows the story of a young 17-year-old otaku, Hajime Nagumo, whose life is completely changed when he and his class fellows are transferred to a fantasy world to save all of mankind. His class fellows are skilled in both defense and offense. However, Hajime is quite unfortunate as he only possesses transmutation skills. He is also frequently made fun of because of his inferior abilities. As if being bullied wasn't enough, Hajime was also betrayed by one of his class fellows who plumbed him into the bottom of an abyss. Luckily, however, he survives the fall and meets a vampire named Yui. Together they begin their journey to help Hajime find his way back home. But you'll see how, as the story progresses, Hajime ends up becoming a foe not to be messed around with. The spotlight of the anime is Hajime himself, as his character is fascinating to watch because to survive, he has no choice but to abandon his humanity. This unique aspect of the anime gives it a spot on the list. 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥 no stigma. Ever had a conflict with your parents because they wanted you to be someone you're not? Well, if that's the case, you'll find the next anime, 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐵 no stigma, quite relatable. It follows the story of Kazuma Yagami, who isn't related to the Light Yagami from Death Note if you're wondering, who is exiled from the Kannagi household for not being able to use fire because he was a user of Fujitsu. In other words, he could control the wind. After 4 years of exile, Kazuma returns to his home as a more reliable person than ever before and ready to prove himself as more than just a worthy member. However, things had changed as several Kannagi members were killed by wind users, making Kazuma a suspect. The protagonist not only has to prove his innocence, but also his worth to the family. If you're interested in great fantasy battles coupled with romance, then this anime is well worth your time. The next anime on our list is Rukudai Kishi no Cavalry, also known as the Chivalry of a Failed Knight. In the world of this anime, some humans possess the ability to form weapons with their souls. They are known as blazers. The anime follows the story of 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥, who is a F-ranked blazer that accidentally sees Stella Vermilion completely naked. Infuriated by the event, Stella challenges 𝐒𝐡𝐚 to a one-on-one duel. The stakes are high because the loser will become the slave of the winner, but somehow 𝐒𝐡𝐚 manages to win the fight. This may seem like a typical harem anime on the surface where the protagonist scores the girl in the beginning. Still, on the contrary, they actually start developing romantic feelings for each other and become closer to each other after the duel. In a typical romance show, the actual romance is left for later on in the series, making this a breath of fresh air. They both aim to become stronger together and, along the way, develop a romantic relationship with each other. This anime has a decent plot, but the most attractive thing about the show are the fights, which will keep you glued to your screen, which is why this anime deserves a spot on the list. The next anime on our list is Tate no Yuusha, also known as the Rising of the Shield Hero. And as you can probably guess by the title, the protagonist wields a shield as his primary weapon, just like Captain America. So yeah, if you like his fighting style, this fantasy anime might be the one for you. Anyways, in the world of this anime, 4 cardinal heroes are selected from modern-day Japan and summoned to the kingdom of Malromak in a fantasy world. The 4 heroes are bestowed with a sword, spear, bow, and shield to defeat the wave of enemies. The anime follows the story of Naogumi Iwatani, who was given the shield, which made him weak in offensive-style combat. To make matters worse, a girl named Malty Malromak falsely accused him of trying to take advantage of her, tarnishing his reputation completely. Our protagonist then sets off to become stronger to regain his status by becoming the strongest warrior alive. And you know what they say, a good defense is the best offense. The anime has pretty decent fights, and since 𝐜𝐴 uses a shield in combat, this makes the fight scenes quite unique. It also has fascinating characters, making it an enjoyable watch and deserving it a spot on the list.
ルーシュ、しかしお前は死んだはずですか。戻ってまいりました、殿下。すべてを変えるために。
𝐜𝐴T𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥. The next anime on our list is one of those that needs no introduction, and it's the one and only 𝐜𝐴T𝐚𝐧𝐽. In the world of 𝐜𝐴T𝐚𝐧𝐽, the Holy Britannian Empire has taken over nearly 1/3 of the world, including Japan. During the war with Japan, the emperor's wife was killed and attacked by some enemies. The protagonist, 𝐿𝐴, who was a small boy, then confronted the emperor, his father, saying how could he let the empress die? And as a responsible father, he exiled his son to Japan for talking to him in a disrespectful tone despite being so weak and frail. 𝐿𝐴 ends up bearing a grudge for the entire Britannian Empire and swears to bring it to its knees one day. Years later, he meets a girl who gives him the power of 𝐜𝐴T𝐚. With it, 𝐿𝐴 can twist a man's will. After acquiring this power, he sets in motion his plan to conquer the entire Britannian nation by forging an army of his own. This anime has a great plot, characters, and some romance, along with amazing mecha fights. It definitely is a show everyone should watch at least once in their lifetime.
恐怖に立ち向かえる何かがあの少年にはあった。
The next anime on our list is the Tower of God. In the world of this anime, a tower summons specially selected people known as regulars and promise that their deepest desires will be fulfilled if they reach the top of the tower. The anime follows the story of a boy named 25th Ban, who has lived his entire life in a dark cave with no knowledge of the outside civilization. One day he meets a girl named Rachel who befriends him and shows him the outside world. Rachel is actually one of the regulars and tells our protagonist that she must venture to the top of the tower. She was the first friend our protagonist had made, so he decided to follow her, despite not being a regular himself. Although the protagonist doesn't gain any superior power in the first season, there will undoubtedly be a surprise waiting for you in the second season. Initially, the story may not seem complicated. However, as more and more mystery of the tower is revealed throughout the anime, the more interesting the anime becomes. The characters and their development are pretty decent as well, deserving this anime a spot on the list. 𝐵𝐴kemono no Ko. The next anime, or rather should I say movie on our list, is 𝐵𝐴kemono no Ko, also known as The Boy and the Beast. The anime follows the story of a young boy named Kumatetsu who discovers a portal that leads him to the Beast World, where everyone is some sort of animal who can walk and talk. In the Beast World, he stumbles upon the intimidating Kumatetsu, who is training for the tournament of Jutangai. The winner of the competition becomes a lord, and you also earn the right to reincarnate yourself into whatever you want to be. The story becomes of the boy and the beast who train with each other to grow stronger. One of the things to love about this movie is the vast number of underlying themes discussed in it. It dives deep into issues like friendship, parenthood, and some dark problems as well. As if that wasn't enough, the icing on the cake is that the animation is also top-notch, so this anime definitely deserves a spot on the list.
ああいう愉快な大バカ者は俺が独り占めだ。よいしょ。やろう。
Vinland Saga. The next anime on our list is the one and only Vinland Saga. It follows the story of a boy named Thorfinn who grew up listening to the tales of a sailor who traveled far distances and discovered Vinland, a land where there was always greener and fertility, unlike the place where he was born, known as Iceland, where it is always cold. As Thorfinn grew up, the war between England and Danes grew worse with each passing year. The mercenary Vikings seemed to enjoy the war, as it gave them a chance to earn glory and money. Thorfinn must rise stronger to avenge his father, who was murdered by Askeladd. This is one of those animes everyone should watch at least once in his or her lifetime. All the characters are likable and have ideologies of their own, even the antagonists. The plot also gets interesting as the political conditions are discussed, making it an anime well worth your time and deserving it a spot on the list.
伝えなかったらチンコ燃えちゃうからところであれって彼女？
違う。
じゃあ遠慮なく。
Tokyo Ravens. The next anime on our list is Tokyo Ravens. In the world of this anime, the Japanese use the onmyo-doi magic to gain superiority in the war, but no significant power comes without consequences of its own. Japan was quickly defeated after the revered 𝐜𝐴𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥 Tsuchimi caused a tremendous spiritual disaster. As a result of the destruction, the 𝐜𝐴𝐚 Agency was made to combat the demons that would make their way into the human world. The anime follows the story of Harutora, who does not have the power to control magic, so he decides to lead a simple and peaceful life. However, when he realizes that some people are trying to control the 𝐼𝐼 magic once again, he decides to oppose them, and despite not having any supernatural abilities initially, he later develops into an extremely OP protagonist as the series progresses. After a few episodes, you'll realize that the story is well thought out and unique, even though the first impression it gives off is that of an ordinary fantasy show. There is also a significant plot twist waiting ahead in the series for the audience that would blow their minds. Mahu Yuka Koyukohu no Retousi. The last anime on our list comes with a one-of-a-kind setup, as in the dawn of the 21st century, magic is no longer thought as something that is beyond the understanding of human beings. People in the anime study magic, just like anyone would study physics or any other ordinary subject. The anime follows the story of our protagonist, Tatsuya, who is enrolled in the first year of high school. However, he is actually enrolled in the second course, where the school dumps its students who aren't very talented in magic. Even though his practical test scores labels him as an inferior student, he is actually quite gifted in the physical aspect. He also holds a lot of potential for magical growth, which he realizes later on in the series. Though this anime has quite a few tropes that some people might not like, overall, we think it's well worth the time of people who are interested in the fantasy genre. The protagonist is very calm and apathetic, and all the other characters also have great features that make them likable, deserving it a spot on the list. Well folks, that's it for our list today. Hope you liked the list, and make sure to drop down yours if you disagree with ours, and if you're looking for more amazing content like this, make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon if you haven't already. And oh, don't forget to smash that like button. Peace out.
まさに祠番とする花のつぼみ、燃えする新緑の目、そう、燃えだ。これは燃えだよ。